And we are live. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Real Talk with Dr. Lulu. Me llamo Doctora Lulu. I am Dr. Lulu. What's going on with y'all? Hello, LinkedIn. Hello, Facebook. Hello, Instagram. Hello, everybody. Listen, I have missed y'all as much as you've missed me. But, the show must go on. I have been lifing, as they say. Life has been lifing. Today, I have a guest with me, and it's not often that I get a guest that I've never met, and literally we just start talking, and it's like boom, like we've known each other forever. That is the kind of guest that I'm having with us today. And I had someone on my Zoom call yesterday, and we were talking about just why we need Caucasians, aka white people, to be visible allies. If you look at my phone, you will see I have the word visible ally on it. I'm not playing when I say I'm an ally. I'm not hiding when I say I'm an ally. I'm serious when I say I'm an ally. We need visible allies because visible allies will help open the door. Visible allies will help us become the anarchists or whatever you want to call us, but we need visible allies. We need people that can come out and say me too, come out and be counted, come out and say I'm fearless. I don't care what you say. This is what I stand for, and it's a notion for which I'm prepared to die. And I stole that from oh my God, Nelson Mandela. He said, "This is a notion for which I'm prepared to die." And this work that I do, I am prepared to die about it. So today we're going to be joined by Miss Ingrid, who is a parent coach just like me. And I just found out that she's also a parent of a trans kid. Like, hello, who knew? So the show is called Real Talk with Dr. Lulu. Today's episode 9. So we're almost in double digits. This was a dream that I had during the summertime. I was like, okay, all these parents of trans kids, the government is coming for their kids. They have a lot of fires they're trying to put out. So I don't blame them if they don't want to come now and show their faces. We have to do safety first. But then again, I like talking, right? And I like connecting with my people. So I need to do something else. So I started thinking, maybe I'll do another show. And I've been thinking about just, let's talk about you, real talk about you. I was just playing with some ideas and I said, wait, real talk with Dr. Lulu is enough, right? So on the show, I don't often have guests. I just talk about whatever I'm going through. But then sometimes I have a guest like today. But before she comes on stage, drum roll, before she comes on stage, I want to talk about just a couple of things that have been happening in my life. So last 2 weekends, I was in Grenada, believe it or not, which my middle child says, Mom, I believe it's Granada. I'm like, dude, who is you trying to correct? Parenting adult kids, right? It was like, Mom, and I believe the correct pronunciation is Grenada. I'm like, dude, whatever. So maybe Granada. Okay, so I was in Grenada. I was by the beach, enjoying life, like just being free. But I went there because I was a keynote speaker for the Black Psychiatrists Association conference. And in that conference, I basically told my story. I think it was titled Unlearning and Affirming the Audacity to Live Out Loud, because I truly have the audacity to live out loud. I'm living out truly all of my wildest dreams. I know that my queer ancestors and all of my other ancestors are like, girl, give it to them, right? Somebody has to. So I went to talk about my life. And then I realized that my life on its own is so enough. Just like your life is so enough. All you got to do is dial into your own life and all the things you've done and all the good, the bad, the ugly, how they've all brought you to this moment. When I was 11, my auntie told me I was going to go to hell because I said, I like boys and I like girls. I'm 11. I'm 11 years old. And then my dad, when I was 16, said, well, I think it's a phase. I think you're going to outgrow it. And then I went to medical school and they said being queer was a mental illness. And, just all the things. And I realized at each point of my life, I can use those points to teach other physicians about their queer patients. Presto, a whole entire course is born. So what magic are you sitting on that your life can create for other people? What awareness do you need to open the doors of so that your life can come through, so that other people can say, wow, I want what she's got. Like, I want whatever she ordered, right? What are you sitting on? What amazing story do you have to give birth to that I can help you with? So I recently also started going by AKA the birth doula, or the doula of dreams, because I realized I can help you birth your dreams. So I have a speaking program called Stage Ready, I think Stage Ready Speaker Coaching Program, where I can help you if you want to become a speaker like me. I can help you if you're struggling with something in your life as a life coach. I can help you if you're struggling to understand what your children are saying. If you're a parent, as a parent coach, as an educator for physicians. Tomorrow, I'm having my first and most important dream come true so far this year. Okay, I just lied, not the first one, but one of my biggest dreams come true this year, because I'm finally able to host an event for the healthcare professionals in Atlanta, Georgia, and the queer community in Atlanta, Georgia. But the funny thing about it is that this time last year, it was literally just a dream. It was literally just an idea in my head. I was like, I would like to do this. And today is coming true tomorrow. So don't underestimate the power of your dreams. Sometimes we're most afraid of the success, not the failure. It's like, oh my God, I might even mess around and do it, think it, believe it, and it's going to come true. So, what about you? What dream are you sitting on? So, as you think about your dream, I'm going to take a quick water sip break. Cheers. And invite our guest in. Y'all brace yourself, because two mama beasts are about to go at it. Yes. As you know, in my space, moms of trans kids are mama beasts. Like the mama bears, yeah, they're there. They're cool too. But you don't know anything until your kid is trans. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Parents of trans kids is a whole different level. And so we're going to have Queen Ingrid walk in today, walls in today, and share space with us as we explore what is it really like to be a parent of a transgender child. So in 3, 2, 1. Ingrid, hi! I already love you, girl.
Dr. Lulu.
I saw you.
How could I be anything other than great joining that kind of energy and that kind of introduction?
Oh, thank you. I saw you in the background laughing out loud, and I was like, okay, I lied. I was like, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for saying yes. But while I'm talking about that, why did you say yes to coming on a show called Real Talk with Dr. Lulu? There was no specific questions, no order, so to say, no structure, just this lady that said, you should come on my show. And you're like, yes. Why did you say yes, my love?
Well, let me start by saying because of you, because you just, I love following you on Instagram or seeing you anywhere, because you just effuse this energy and positivity and really a harnessing of something that speaks to me, that when I see one of your videos, I just feel like, yeah, I can flip and do this. This is the power of my dreams.
Yes.
And it makes me dig deeper and think about what I want to accomplish in the world. And then of course, the other reason is I'm the mother of a trans kid. I'm a parent coach who specifically works with parents of trans kids. And if I want to make the shift I want to make for trans kids by supporting their parents, I need to get the message out there. There is a lot of bad messaging coming out right now, particularly from the US. And it makes me terrified of how much internalizing can happen with those messages. And so the more we can get out there that says the opposite, the better.
Period.
So
I want to bestow upon you, by the powers vested in me by my ancestors, I want to bestow upon you the subtitle name of Mama Beast. Because let me tell you, they have to come through you. They have to
Yes.
come through you to get to your cub. And honestly, let me tell you, when you know, you know. It's not if you know, it's when you know, because it is a journey. And talking about journeys, tell us your journey. How did it start? Where did it
Yeah.
start? To the extent that you can share, because like I tell people that ask me, I my story is powerful enough. I don't have to say much about my kid because that's her
No.
story to tell. That
Yes.
said, my story can also almost not be told without her story showing up, in the necessary places. So how, why, what, where?
Go.
Go. Yes.
Yeah, I appreciate you starting with that about my story versus my kid's story, because at the beginning, one of the earliest things my child said to me is, this isn't about you. And this week in Trans Awareness Week, I actually talked about this in one of my Instagram stories. And I took that really seriously, that while I should, in the background, educate myself, take classes, join support groups, that was not something that should be centered. It's always her that is centered in our experience as a family.
We
But
have
at
the
the
same
same
child.
time,
We have
thank
the
you.
same child. We have the same
At the
child.
same time,
Yeah, because my kid
about
said the same thing. She said, Mom, it's not about you. It's actually
yeah, and I hear it all the time in my comments,
yeah,
in comments on my
it's one of
Instagram
the first
page.
lines in my book. Mom, it's not about you. It's not about you. I just, oh my God. Yes, yes, yes. Let's go.
Yes. But early on in a class that I was taking, I mean, let me backtrack a tiny bit. I was very I felt myself to be very open-minded, very accepting of LGBTQ people. I had some warnings with my child, so it wasn't like a total shock. And yet, right after she told me, and I said all the right things, like, I love you. I'm so proud of you for figuring this out. I so appreciate you telling me. Good for you for taking the steps you've taken already. How can I support you? When she got out of the car, because she was going to her home, she was a young adult studying at university. I drove a block away and sat in the car and cried for a good hour.
I knew you were going to say that. Wait, hold
Yes.
up. Yesterday, I was in a podcast interview about immigrant physicians. I think it's called Skip. I forget the name, but it was about immigrant physicians. And I said that. I said, for the parents whose child says, Mom, I'm gay, I'm trans, I'm queer, I'm all that. At the moment, you do TAD. Thank them for finding you safe. Ask them, how can I support you? And make a decision right now to support them no matter what. Then,
Oh my God, I love that.
Then and only then do you run into your closet or wherever and cry all you need to cry, because I know you're not thinking that. No parent is like, yes, God, oh, by the way, I want my first child to be queer, the second child to be trans, the third. No, we're not doing that. I want people to understand that parents they're not doing that. We're not saying that. That said, you love the child that you have.
Totally. And in the moment that I was affirming my kid, I wasn't pretending. I was proud of her. I was glad that she had taken these steps. I was so grateful that she was telling me. And to be honest, I would not in that moment have told you, in a minute, I'll be crying a block away.
Yes.
I was in the moment with my kid. But somehow she got out of the car. I watched her walk into her home and the dam broke. And I had the sense to get away a block away just because I didn't want her to return to the car and catch me.
I love you.
But it was such a complicated expression of emotion. There were elements of guilt and shame because I felt like my child is 22. How have we come this far without acknowledging this or knowing about it? How come it took so long for it to get on the table? And what has she lost? What does this cost her that it took this long? I felt scared, imagining, as many parents do, all the possibilities out there, all the hate that could come her way. Of course. I didn't at that time think of any of the positives. I felt afraid for her future, like immediately thought of things that might be lost. And this is not correct. But at the moment, I thought, now she'll never marry, she'll never have children, she'll never be physically well, etc. Like just totally ridiculous things, but that I just didn't know what I didn't know. And And then I guess I also had that sad feeling of, am I going to have to go home and rewrite the last 22 years, take away photographs, never be allowed to talk about her childhood? So many assumptions I made. Anyway, I went home. I started immediately looking for books. I went to a couple of meetings of a program in Toronto called Transceptance that is a peer-led support group, where I immediately met people who were talking about their trans adult children who were married, had kids, had jobs, lived abroad, were education, had PhDs and were teaching at universities, and was like, oh, so everything is still possible. In fact, truthfully, more was possible for my kid, not less, because suddenly she was her authentic self and no longer weighed down by the burden of trying to pretend for the rest of the world to be something other than what she was. But I still was struggling, and I still was asking her inappropriate questions like, aren't you scared? Aren't you worried? How are you going to protect yourself from the crazy people on the street, and so on?
Yes.
And then I took a class where I was learning information, not so much support as information. And they told us a statistic. And for me, this was like everything was a moment, the moments before and the moments after. The statistic was about the suicide and self-harm rate for trans kids if they don't have support, or if they perceive their parents as only partly supportive.
Yes.
And that number goes down to the normal rate for their age if they perceive their parents to be supportive. And I was like, so this isn't about people on the sidewalk saying rude things. This is about me protecting my child, me putting a layer of love and support around them, me stepping into and up for this role. And I think you talk about beast. I think that was the moment when the beast woke up.
Yes.
When it was like, this is about me. It's not about me, her experience, but it is about me, that I don't have the luxury of taking my time on this. I need to be on board today. Right now. I need to do everything in my power, and I need to be on board right now. So yeah, that's the gist of my story. I think you and I came in contact with each other because I posted something on Instagram about 6 months ago about that night. And it was the part that involved my son, my younger child, who is a very supportive advocate of his sibling.
Yes.
And
so I'll tell you
go ahead.
Give me 1 second. So usually, my very first podcast was called Suicide Pages. That's my first podcast in 2016, before podcast became a thing.
Right.
And every quarter during that show, because that was such a heavy show, I would always take a break so that my speaker can also take a break. So we're going to take a break. We're going to pretend it's 12:15, it's 12:17, but that's okay. And I'll just remind people and just recenter the room. So the show is called Real Talk with Dr. Lulu. Today, we're joined by Ingrid, who I did not know lived in Canada. So it just came out now. Ingrid is a mama beast of a trans kid and other children. And the first quarter of the show, we've been talking about just who is Ingrid and why is she here. And we're going to go into the second half of the show. We're going to introduce the fact that just because you have one child who is transgender doesn't automatically banish the other kids who may or may not be transgender. And we'll bring in my own other children and how that played out. So similar to Ingrid, my world, literally the ground opened up and I felt like I had just sunk into like this huge sinkhole, because I was like, wait, what? Not trans, please, not trans. And for me, for 3 weeks, I was in fetal position on my couch. I could not move. I thought everything that you were thinking, the worst. I wasn't a coach by then. I didn't know better, that you are what you think, that the universe will manifest more and more of what you think. None of that. And then the kid said, Mom, this is not about you. And if you're not going to support me, then I'm going to find support elsewhere. That woke me up. So for all it's worth, we are talking real talk today, because in today's world, sadly, Parents are being damned for loving their kids and affirming their kids. Kids are being damned for being who they are. And some of us are just not going to take it lying down. And so, thank you so much, Ingrid, for joining us today. When, not if, but when I resurrect the Moms for Trans Kids podcast, I'm going to invite you, Ingrid, to come back on that show as a co-host. I know you didn't see this coming because
No.
I also want I also want different views. And that's what happened with my current co-hostess. She came on the show and I was like, no, I need this person to be part of the show. So it's going to come back when it's a little calmer, because I also want the parents who are guests to be able to come. But yeah, that's something that just the spirit just told me that, so I'm just going to share that. But it's not today. But for today, we want to talk about your journey as a parent, as a parent's coach, and most importantly, as a mother of both a trans kid and other kids who are just who they are. So, welcome to the second quarter of the show. The show is called Real Talk with Dr. Lulu, and I'm joined today by Ingrid, who is so brave to come and share her story about becoming, because it's a journey, becoming this affirming, supportive parent of a transgender child. So Ingrid, wow. The day we met on social media, you made a post about your sibling. Tell us about
my child's sibling. Yeah, my younger
your child sibling. I'm sorry. Yeah, your child sibling.
So he had seen that I had come home crying, but knew my husband was supporting me and kind of let it happen. And that morning, he saw on Twitter an announcement by his sister that she was trans. And that's how he found out. And he immediately came to find me and said, "Is that why you were crying last night?" And I said, "Yes, but it's okay. Everything's fine. I'm on board. I'm supportive." Not really 100% true at that time, but I wasn't going to tell him that. And he said, "But Mom, if you're crying because you think you've lost something, you haven't. Masha's still the exact same person. It's just that she has shown you now something about herself that was hidden. And now you know her better, you know more." And that was, I spoke a minute ago about that statistic and how it turned me into a beast. But I think that was the moment when my heart fully opened. Yes. Was listening to my child and looking at him. He was only, I think, 18. Yeah, 18. And standing looking at him and thinking, holy, you are wise.
Yeah, you can curse on my show.
I can. Okay, so holy shit, you are wise.
Yes.
And I am going to take that lead. I'm going to recognize that this is about more, not about less.
Yes.
That anything that comes up for me that's around grief or sadness, I'm going to poke that and remind that my child has expanded. My world has expanded.
Amen.
And in fact, you just mentioned how no parent wishes their child was trans. And I agree with that. But when your child is trans, it's actually possible to recognize what you're grateful for. Like my child being trans had opened my brain so much, has expanded my thinking. You started by talking about visible allies. Before that, I would have said I was an ally, but it was BS. I wasn't a real ally. I didn't know anything. But afterwards, I feel like this shift happened that led me to understand that I have so many internalized biases, and it is my job to disentangle them, to dismantle them, to find where they started, to kick that shit to the curb, and that I am going to be a work in progress till the day I die.
Yes. Gosh, take a minute. I want to just affirm you. I also want to affirm your kid because I have a similar story. I felt kind of weird. I was like, I didn't want to tell the other siblings. I was like, and then my middle child, not my baby, but the middle child said, "Mom, I mean, nothing has really changed. Can I go now?" I'm like, yes. And I realized I was the one who was like stumbling. The other kids were like, "Sure, Mom. I mean, that's not a problem. Like, we're cool." And that hit me somewhere. I was like, wait, what? Yes, they were cool. I mean, nothing has changed. As a matter of fact, everybody else in my school is trans or queer or whatever. Like, can I go now?
Yeah, this is normal.
This is normal. So the two things I want to do with today's episode specifically is to normalize all the emotions that come up for us when we hear the words mom, I'm trans, right? That said, my transgender child, when I was preparing for my second TEDx talk, my kid said, Mom, the talk is fine. There's only one part I want you to edit. I said, what part? She said, the part that says, I understand your need to grieve. She was like, what are the parents grieving? The child is not dead. The child is just showing you who they really are. So basically, are you grieving for what's a mirage? Are they grieving a mirage? Like if your friend tells you, well, actually, I'm from. You thought I was from. I don't know. I'm just gonna make it up. You thought I was from Johannesburg, and then I said I'm actually from Kampala. Are you grieving the fact that I'm not from? No, you're welcoming that I'm from Kampala. I was like, okay. So I was like, my kid is a full scholarship, went to Stanford. So we're talking smart, like I don't know.
Oh yeah.
She's like, what are the parents grieving? She's like, that's the only piece I need you to edit from the entire talk. She's like, that piece is not accurate. And that's when I realized, okay, for parents who want to grieve, I now decided on my own. For parents who, I'm not saying don't grieve, but if you choose to grieve, there are multiple things happening here. Number one, your child has known who they were for a very long time before they told you. Number two, if you decide to grieve, how long are you going to grieve? Number three, while you're grieving, what's happening to the reality? Your child is still who they are. And so I said to myself, the definition of suffering is knowing what to do and not doing it. Because now you know your child is who they are.
That's so good.
You now have to decide that this is what I'm going to do, which is why the TAD, the D is make a decision today. Because prolonging it is like prolonging the suffering. And if there's anybody, as you said, that needs to come on board right away, is the parents, because the world outside is so hostile for your child, So yeah. Phew, I had to get that out of the way.
I love that D. I love that decision, because parents say they're afraid, and that fear paralyzes them.
Yes.
And so they don't do anything to change it. But I think what they're thinking is that the thing they have to do to change it is like activists, go out and march, throw flames of activism everywhere they go. And of course we need those people. Of course we do. But their true first step is to decide that they're going to support their kid so that their kid has a safe home base, and so they can carry that home with them out into the world and know that they are right, that they are who they are supposed to be, and that the rest is the bullshit. Not that.
So you see why I said you need to be one of my co-hostesses. You see why that mentality, it didn't come from just anywhere. And while you were speaking, I wrote, I don't know what to say or do. The class that I teach, the parent awareness affirmation class that I teach, is titled, I don't know what to say or I don't know what to do. I say that because doctors say, I don't want to say the wrong thing. Parents say, I don't know what to say. Neither one of them is incorrect as far as validating the person saying it. However, when it comes to validating the child, neither one of them is correct. The parents are shocked, frozen. I don't know what to say. But you can just say, thank you. Because what has happened is your child has found you safe enough to share this thing. So say thank you, right? And then ask them, how can I support you? Because as you said, not all the children want fireworks and rainbow painted sidewalks. Some kids just want to just go about their business. Other kids want a rainbow cake. So asking the child, how can I support you, is giving the child back the autonomy, giving the decision of moving forward to the child, going back to the name of your business is forward movement.
The way forward.
The way forward, yeah. So giving the responsibility of your reaction or your response to the owner of the story, which is your kid. And then your job is to decide and then stand firm and say, you have to come through me. So yeah, go ahead. I had to say
that's all so good. I had a parent recently say to me that because she has a very young trans child where she does have to take the lead in a lot of situations. She says she follows from in front. So she follows her child's lead, but she's always out in front of it, managing what's happening. She's not just passively with her very young child. I'm talking like grade 2. She doesn't sit and allow that child to just decide and she's passive, but she always follows what her child is asking for, what her child is needing. She's always watching for that. And again, centering her kid, not her own agenda. So important. So important. And even though I'm 5 years into this journey, and
me too. Oh my God, we're twins.
2020 was the year.
2020 was the year, yeah, for me.
Yeah.
For me, I found out about non-binary at 2020. I found out about trans in 2022. But non-binary, I found out at the graduation from Stanford. The gentleman kept saying they this and they that. My kid was getting the award of excellence from the College of Arts, and the gentleman kept saying they this and they that. That's the person who was given the award. So I was like, wait, I was like, son, and I used that because of that's exactly what I said. I said, son, I thought you're the only one getting the award. Who are all these people this man is talking about? Because of the they, them. Then my manager was like, no, mom, actually it's because X is non-binary. I was like, what the fuck is that? What is non-binary? I thought you were just gay. So that for me was the beginning of the journey. And then 2 years later, she said, mom, I'm actually trans. I'm like, wow, you know? So she gave it to me in little bits, but I went back and I realized this whole time, I now was able to understand all of the signs that she's been giving me from when she was 2 years old.
Incredible, eh?
Wow. Thank you
How
so
far
much.
back you can go.
So now that we've kind of excavated all of that, let's talk about the way forward coaching. So if you're just joining us, the show is called Real Talk with Dr. Lulu. Please follow us, share the show to your friends who may need to hear about it as we celebrate Transgender Day of Remembrance tomorrow and Transgender Awareness Week this week. We're joined by Miss Ingrid. I keep wanting to say Dr. Ingrid. Miss Ingrid from Canada, who just happens to be a mom of a transgender child. And we'll be having an amazing conversation, which, by the way, I'm going to send this episode to as many people as I can because it's just chock filled with so much nuggets. So you decided to become a coach for parents of transgender children. How did that come about?
Well, it was a slower process than that. First, I decided to just become a coach. Then I decided I wanted to work with parents in general. I was an elementary school teacher for 30 years. This is career number 2. And I realized I missed parent advocacy. I always felt as a teacher that parents were often blamed for anything that their children were struggling with and would walk away filled with shame. And shame is like just a destroyer of action. It causes you to shrink, not stand up, and no beast is unleashed. And so I had done a lot of work as a teacher in really partnering with parents and really encouraging them to strongly advocate for their children, while at the same time respecting that I had professional knowledge about what was happening with their child in the classroom. And I missed this more than I missed even working with the kids. I missed this. So I decided to become a parent coach. And then in the spring on my Instagram, I thought I need to be more transparent about my family because I was concerned about what I was seeing happening in the States. And I have many American followers, and not just in the States, elsewhere as well. And I was worried about having followers who would one day find out and would be like, whoa, you didn't tell us this. So I thought I'm just going to quietly throw it in a couple of times with my child's blessing.
Of course.
And it exploded.
And thank you for adding that piece.
Oh yeah, so important.
Because I know earlier on, one of the things you also mentioned that I was thinking about is like, oh my God, all the baby pictures. And my kid was like, Mom, actually, it doesn't matter to me. And
mine too.
Not all trans people have the same concerns. As a queer person, I am here to say that many doctors say, I don't want to say the wrong thing because of fear that they're going to say the wrong thing. To which I push back and I say, well, who gets to decide what is the wrong thing?
Yes,
right?
So good.
So if you never say anything, how do you know is wrong? Actually, what you want to say is, I don't want to act based on my bias, which is exclusion, right? Which is silence, right? Which is
Invisibility.
not acknowledging, yes, which is erasure of me. So you rather say, it's easier to say, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but truly just say something. And I always liken it to someone who is speaking, someone like me, I'm a polyglot. I speak 9 languages fluently. So I always use an example of someone who's Spanish, right? If I speak Spanish as a Nigerian and you, Ingrid, let's just say, okay, maybe French since you're in Canada. So if I say bonjour, comment ça va? If it's whatever, and if I say that and I say it wrongly, like if I say bonjour, because obviously I know how to speak French. So if I say bonjour, for instance, you as a French speaking person, you say, oh, wow, you want to speak my language? So this is how to say it. Say bonjour. Like you'll be so happy, so excited. You're not going to say, oh, I can't believe you want to speak Spanish. I'm in French. No, you will say, oh my goodness. So this is how to say
So
it.
good. Such a good analogy.
Yeah, so I give that. I said, if you say, my name is Dr. Lulu, my pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm just learning about this whole LGBT thing. So please correct me if I make a mistake. If you practice cultural humility and just try, I'll be like, oh my goodness, thank you for trying. Like, okay, so this is how you do it. This is how you say it. I'm not going to be angry. So people are like, oh, you want to walk on eggshells. I said, why do you feel a need to walk on eggshells? You haven't asked, you haven't said anything. I don't know anything. Why am I good? Why are you expecting me to have a negative reaction? Why?
And if you have a negative reaction, can I not manage?
Exactly. Well, there you go.
Because I irritated you or made you angry?
I'm
going to say, you have a right to be angry. You've had to put up with a lot of shit. And I just poked that part and I apologize and we'll move on.
And we'll move on.
I'm not that flippin' fragile.
People don't want to lean in to the fact that they have an ego that they don't want. I will not be the first patient that let's just say I do get upset, as you said. I will not be the first patient that got upset. Patients get upset about everything all the time. Everything all the time. Exactly. I am now Mrs. Brown. Do not call me Miss Orange anymore, right? That's real, right? So, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry, Mrs. Brown. We thought you were still, no, I'm no longer Miss Orange, period, right? Or I'm allergic to penicillin. Why did y'all give me penicillin? Oh, I'm so sorry I gave you penicillin. Okay, so we're going to give you Zithromax, the alternative.
Right.
Move on, right? It's not all about the penicillin. No, it's about, now I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have an example of that a parent.
No, go for it.
One of my clients was really struggling with her child's pronouns and was inconsistently using they, them, a little bit of she, her, but not really getting it. And I at one point said, well, have you asked her? And she said, well, no. I said, well, text her right now. Go ahead, right in the middle of our session. So she did just a simple, I'm here with the coach. She knows her daughter knew she was working with me. I'm here with Ingrid, and she wants to just get me to clarify which pronouns to use in our session. And her daughter said, oh, I use she, her exclusively. Thank you for asking. And heart. And it was the nicest exchange they'd had in a while. And was just like an example of this simple, don't walk on eggshells, just ask. And if they're like, you should know, it's she, her. Okay, I can survive my kid throwing this little you should know at me. I'm not going to break.
And it's not the first time. That is definitely something that is something new that I'm going to use. That's a new thought that I have never really even entertained. Yes. So the patient gets angry. So what?
It's fragility.
Right? I love
it's talked about in race relations a lot, right? The white fragility.
Yes.
Come on.
But this is not white people. I live in Atlanta. So it's black people. It's the ego. It's the fragility. It's the fragile ego, which I love that you brought that up so much, because that is a thought that I have never really thought about. And I appreciate you for bringing that up. I just never went there. Like, okay, so what's the worst thing that could happen?
Exactly. What's the worst thing that could happen? Your child is ticked off. You get corrected. You course correct, and now you move on.
And we move on.
And it's not the only time they're going to be annoyed with you for forgetting that they don't put gravy on their chicken.
Yes. Yes, so many more things in the future. This is just one of those things. Just chuck it up and just keep it moving. Wow.
Exactly.
Ingrid, you have been just an amazing guest. I never know, and this is so beautiful because I never really know like which way the talks are going to go, but I try to encourage my guests not to anticipate anything because it's going to be
Right.
organic. It's going to be, if I'm the interviewer, it's going to be organic. And that's exactly what's happening. And I just love it so much. Wow.
Yeah.
So
I have a
really,
feeling we could probably talk all day.
yeah, oh, absolutely. It's a done deal. But let me ask you, since you mentioned your husband and you mentioned other children, to the extent that you can share, what has life been like in the family with the internal family and with the extended family, to the extent that you can share?
Right. Well, I'm actually remarried, so my daughter's dad is not my husband. He's the stepdad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say we were really lucky that we've had pretty good support across the board.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter didn't want to tell her dad at the same time as she told me. And that was a bit of a struggle for me because we had been very transparent and had sort of agreed that we would always share information. And this is something other parents bring up. And what I did with my daughter was say, I'm willing to hold this private. You're an adult for a period of time, but I cannot keep things from your father indefinitely. And we know he's going to be on board. He's a very supportive father. And my daughter, about a month later, told him, and he was supportive.
Do you want Ingrid, do you want us to talk about that really quickly? Because that is something that comes up a lot. And in my book, the way I handle it is a little bit different. In the book, I say, if your child says, I don't want to tell grandma, your job is to honor, I don't want to tell
100%.
grandma. But I also say indefinitely. And the reason I say indefinitely is because my book is about Black trans kids. My book is about a different culture. And I say that because in the Black community, we do not know, really in any community, you never fully know the reason why someone chooses not to tell someone. Like I might think my mom is like the most amazing mother of all, but it could be that my child who is trans has overheard my mother some time ago. We don't know. This is an example, right? Has overheard my mother some time ago say something derogatory about the trans community. I don't know. So I don't push it. I don't force it. I say to them, whenever you are good and ready, I'll be there to support you when you decide to share. Because
that's a great way to put it.
Yeah, because I also want to insist that, which is, I mean, of course, all this is hindsight, but I also want to insist that the child's journey should always be the child's journey. And the way they choose to tell the rest of the family should be the way they want to tell the rest of the family. Because for some families, if that child feels betrayed by you, guess what they're going to do? They're going to rescind their invitation, which I talk about.
Right, shut the door on you.
Yes, and then you don't have any more access, right? The child might or might not. We don't know. And you don't want to find out by doing that.
Right. That makes so much sense. Thank you for clarifying that. That does make so much sense. And
again,
it wasn't a path I had to cross.
Yeah.
Because my daughter did tell her father,
Yes.
and she was very open in general by then, had told everyone and had told us that even acquaintances who asked after her, she would prefer that we inform them that what her chosen name was, her correct pronouns, just across the board. She wanted to be very open. So it wasn't a path I had to cross. But the support we got was interesting. My nieces were like, you got something big to tell us. We told them, and they were sort of, okay, but what's the big thing? They thought that this news of her being trans was like throwaway news. Like there's got to be something else. My dad was the most interesting because he is 93. So he was 88 at the time. And he basically said, I don't understand. And I don't think I'm ever going to fully understand. But that is not important because I fully accept.
Oh, wow.
And from that day, he makes mistakes. And he does say to me sometimes, I'm so angry with myself that this isn't easier. And I say, Dad, you're in your 90s. Nothing is that easy anymore.
Yeah.
And Masha is my daughter is fully on board with her grandfather's efforts. But where he does really well, I think, is he speaks up in his retirement center anytime somebody brings up anything that is transphobic or not fully accepting of the LGBTQ community plus community. He speaks up every single time, and not always by outing his granddaughter. He doesn't always say it's about her.
And again, it's here because
no,
it's not
that's not acceptable.
Yes.
It's his story. So he'll say, no, I'm not interested in that kind of conversation, or you're not right. Here's information to dispel. And because he did want to understand, he did read and ask questions and talk with his granddaughter about it. And then I think it's interesting. My daughter had very different levels of acceptance of certain behaviors from different people. So at the very beginning, she said, I don't care if grandpa misgenders me, but that doesn't mean I'm okay with you doing it. So you need to get it right. I don't care about him so much. Not because she didn't love him, but because she just accepted that his bar might be slightly different. And I've noticed that across the board that it's very specific. So asking her and following her lead was critical. That these are the things that are acceptable from some people, but from me, from her father, and from her brother, we were expected to be on board from the first day. And we have been on board as much as not as much as we can, but meaning we make mistakes. And she accepts that we occasionally make mistakes, but she accepts it because of how much effort we've made.
Yes.
To get it right.
Everything you said. My family is a little different, but my dad definitely is trying. It's different culturally, it's different racially, it's different everythingly, but I will give it to my dad. He's on it. Sometimes he gets the name right, sometimes he doesn't. And I just hold space for him. He's 92, just like your dad. So it's like, yeah, sure, let's go. So thank you just so much for sharing that, your family has come along. And I wish the world wasn't the way it is. I pray that I live long enough to see a world that changes from this energy towards the queer community. But in the meantime, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. So the show is called Real Talk with Dr. Lulu. My name is Dr. Lulu, and today I'm joined by Ingrid, all the way from Canada. I had no idea. And Ingrid just happens to also be a mom of a trans kid. If you missed the show, please press rewind, go to my YouTube, which is called Moms for Trans Kids, Moms, the number 4, Trans Kids. Go to my LinkedIn, go to my Facebook. On Instagram, unfortunately, after the show ends, usually Instagram wants us to delete it because the interface between Instagram and StreamYard is not there yet for whatever reason. So once I end the show, once I close that page, it deletes the video, unfortunately. But it saves it in my saved videos, but it deletes it, I think, from my page. I don't know how it works. But you can always go to my YouTube, which is Moms, the number 4, Trans Kids, to watch this episode. So as we close out, as we come to the end of a beautiful hour, I want to say thank you again for your advocacy. I want to say thank you again for being a mama beast. I want to say thank you again at this point for being my sister in arms, right? It is not easy to have a child who the world hates you for having the child, you for supporting the child, and then hates the child as well. That, my friends, is the real shiznit. So as we close out, where can people find you? Where can people support you? Where can people get to, sign up for your services and things like that? And as you speak, I'll type it in the comment section and share it on the thing so people can see and follow you.
Thank you. So my main platform is Instagram. My feed seems to go to Facebook, but it's not really where I work. So Instagram, my handle is at the way forward for the number 4 parents. So that's at the way forward, the number 4 parents.
Okay.
And then my website is www.thewayforwardcoaching.ca, not .com, .ca.
Yeah, because it's Canada.
Yeah. And
So
that's where you can find out more information about coaching. You can reach out to connect with me and just get more information.
Okay. So we've got on Instagram, the way forward for parents. Did I get that right?
Yep.
And then
Yep.
on
Yep, you got them both right.
World Wide Web. Okay, so very good. So you can literally get a copy. You can, for everyone, you can get a copy of this show on YouTube at Moms, the number 4 Trans Kids. That's the name of my YouTube until I change the name later on. But this has been a most beautiful, just thank you. I want to ask you, do you have anything that you would like to add to the conversation that maybe we haven't talked about yet? Is there do you have any questions for me, or is there anything you would like to know? And I know you said you were going to get the book, so if you want me to send you an autographed copy, we can talk about
it. I'd love it.
And then I can send you an autographed copy. You can just pay your little Canadian dollars. I will make it happen. But I really do want people to find you, follow you, and support you, and all the other things. So
I think all I'd like to say in wrapping up is how important I think your work is with physicians. Because I have had not only have I personally had the experience, but many of my parents of trans kids friends have had the experience of doctors who are either biased against their children and who say inappropriate things to the parents, or who know nothing, who don't understand very much about what it means to be trans, not even on a medical level. And I really think as we move forward, as this awareness and openness moves forward, there are going to be more and more things happening, like a trans man who could be pregnant. There's going to be topics around how come your name is a woman's name and the person walking in doesn't look the way I expect. And if doctors are being given awareness by someone like you, then I think it's changing things from within in a way that provides so much support to people when they come in and need guidance and help, not to be directing them in the wrong way. Doctors have so much authority. And the things they signal back to their patients mean everything.
Means everything.
So thank you. Thank
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for affirming me. Thank you so much. I'm here for that. I wrote down headaches because I like to give doctors this example, or just people this example. Imagine if you went to see your doctor for a headache and your doctor said, well, I was not taught anything about headaches in medical school. I don't know anything about headaches in medical school. I don't understand headaches. That's what.
And I don't even believe in them. I don't even think they're real.
And oh my God, how can you have?
It's just a phase.
It's against my morals.
I've been noticing a lot of people having headaches lately, so I think it's just a phase.
There are too many of you. And somebody said that in Grenada, whatever my son said, in Grenada 2 weeks ago, one of the doctors said, yeah, they were becoming too many genders. She said that. She said, yeah, it was becoming too much. I said, what do you mean? She said, they were becoming too many genders. And to which I said, how does that affect you? It's like somebody saying that they're becoming too many Black people. I always find a way of bringing it back to them. I say, how does that affect?
So good.
Okay, so and then during my talk, I actually made a reference to that. And I don't know if she was happy or not, but during my keynote, I actually made a reference to. I said one of us yesterday said on the bus that it was becoming too many genders. What does that mean? I don't know what to say. What does that mean?
Good response. Good response.
Yes, but I have enjoyed spending the nearly 1 hour with you. Thank you so much for coming. Y'all, please go to @The Way Forward for Parents, the number 4 Parents on Instagram. Follow Ingrid. Ingrid is doing very well. Ingrid, your story really parallels mine so much because as a pediatrician, I also missed seeing the babies and advocating for them with their parents. I missed that so much. And that kind of gave birth. Actually, my ex-wife said, I think you should just start talking to the parents, because I always came home and said the kids are like, their parents did this and their parents did that and they're suicide. I should say, yeah, I think you're talking to the wrong person. You should be talking to the parents instead. I was like, okay, I will talk to the parents. So I want to say thank you so much for being a parent advocate. Thank you so much, because I had to lay that down gently so I could pick up the baton of talking to physicians.
Right.
And so thank you for affirming me, because as I told Oprah, I'm the only one that I know who is doing this work with my background, being a Black queer immigrant
Right.
physician. So I'm really, and I actually came up, you might understand this, but I came up with a term called reverse intersectionality, where I help people understand that your quote unquote marginalized identity, which in my case is Black queer immigrant, mom of a trans kid, because for some people they think that that's a marginalized identity. I'm using it for positive change. I'm using it to do good. And so I really appreciate that. So I made the term up. It's called reverse intersectionality, and I'm actually trademarking the term. So I'm very proud of
Good
myself.
for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for everything, Dr. Lulu.
Thank you for coming. This has been so amazing. Stay tuned, y'all, because Ingrid might be coming back very soon. And you know what? If you'd like to see Ingrid come back, just type in the comment section wherever you watch this. Type and say, yes, I want to see Ingrid back. And we'll find a reason to bring Ingrid back. Ingrid, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Happy Trans Visibility Week and Awareness Week and Visibility Day and all the things, Remembrance Day and all that tomorrow to your child.
Thank you. Thank you. And to yours.
Thank you so much. All right,
Thank you.
folks. And just like that, another beautiful episode is over. The show is called Real Talk with Dr. Lulu. Me llamo Doctora Lulu. I am the host, and I just want to talk to you. So if you have something to talk about, send me a message and we'll make sure that we get you on the air to talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. Until next week, Wednesday at 12 noon, is peace, love, and soul from Dr. Lulu. Peace out. See y'all later. Yes! Ingrid, oh my goodness, give me 1 second. Let me end the stream so we can chit chat. All right, my love? Okay.